We begin with breaking news. It is the news that all of Wall Street is chattering about. Dick Fuld, seen right here on the screen from this afternoon, former Lehman Brothers CEO and the man in charge when the firm went down in a blazing disaster during the financial crisis, making his first public appearance in 7 years. As you see, those are Fox Business cameras catching up with him as he tried to walk into and out of the Grand Hyatt Hotel in Midtown. At least some people expected he would address his role in Lehman Brothers disaster. A 158-year-old firm goes up in flames, thousands of jobs lost, and all he said when asked about Lehman was, maybe some other time. Charlie Gasparino was the only reporter to attempt to confront Dick Fuld today. Why? Because there's more to this story that Dick isn't sharing with the public.
Right, and we should point out that I don't know if we have the video of him shaking my hand. He actually did come out and shake my hand when he was leaving the conference, the Microcap Conference that he was out.
But he didn't answer your question.
He didn't. He wouldn't answer my question. I will say this, Dick Fuld can't talk too much about Lehman Brothers. If you look at my story today, it's a story about a very suspicious deal he was involved in. It's a penny stock deal or a very small cap stock deal. What I did was I looked at his brokerage records. His brokerage records say that pending investigations continue into his role in Lehman's collapse by the Securities Exchange Commission, by the New Jersey Department of Securities. He still faces some potential regulatory issue. And when you face a regulatory issue like that, he also has civil lawsuits outstanding against him. You got a real problem. You cannot say anything. So he went up there. He made a few benign remarks about Lehman. He said it wasn't a bankruptcy, which kind of it wasn't bankrupt in the typical sense, which is kind of his theme since 2008. Basically said, listen, we suffered from a short-term liquidity squeeze. People weren't dealing with us. If Hank Paulson, the Treasury Secretary at the time, didn't pick winners and losers, choose to bail out Goldman and not us, we would still be in business. That has been his line, and he kind of danced around that at this conference. We should point out that what my story talks about, besides the tragedy of this one deal, one of the people involved in the deal, as we were reporting on it a couple of weeks ago, committed suicide. And
this is a new deal.
This is a new deal. No, this is the first time this is probably the biggest deal he's been involved in since Lehman Brothers, and it imploded, essentially. It's a shell of itself. It's called In the Car. You can read it on foxbusiness.com. But one of the points we were trying to make in this story, or I was making in this story, is that this is a guy that was Wall Street royalty in 2008. Then Lehman fell, and guess what he's doing now? He's involved with very speculative companies, microcap stocks, a.k.a. penny stocks, and the sort of outfits like I write about that are fly-by, that kind of very, I don't want to say fly-by-night, because there was a concept there that I think was interesting, but it's highly speculative. And what happened in the aftermath of this company that he was involved in, he's actually an investor in the company as well. It imploded. People lost a lot of money. People are mad. People are hurting. And one guy involved in this whole thing committed suicide. So it's, we're not blaming.
After investing his wife $650,000.
After his wife was in it. And you got to read the whole story. It's a very straightforward story. Well, listen, all you reporters out there that think that, all you people out there that think that all those reporters are like, the guys from Rolling Stone who rely on one source and just put whatever we want out there. Read the story. This is multiple source stories. 95% of it is on the record. I use very few unattributed quotes, and we rely on documents and people on the record. So
foxbusiness.com has it right now. But Charlie, I have to ask you, because I was looking at a bunch of the business channels, and one of them, not us, CNBC, was carrying the speech, and then their camera was ripped away.
Well, their camera was ripped away. They were at the Fuld speech, because they were not supposed to be there. They violated the rules, and we ratted them out. And when we ratted them out, they pulled the plug on them. That's essentially what happened over there.
Well, this is from Periscope.
That's it, and that is him speaking. There's no offense. It wasn't exactly the most riveting television in the world. More interesting journalism is what we did, and how we covered it.
I listened to some of the speech. He starts waxing poetic. The euro is in jeopardy. He starts talking about ISIS, and I'm thinking,
ISIS?
Who are you? Like, head of the Council of Foreign Relations? You taking Richard Haas's job? Yeah. What is he doing?
He was very nervous.
Why is he even out there?
Well, that's a good listen. This is the genre he's in right now. This was a penny stock conference. Dick Fuld is a penny stock deal maker. For better or worse, that's what he does. By the way, we should also take a victory lap on one other thing. We were first on this show with you, the first to report that J.P. Morgan was going to do major layoffs. It's out today in the Journal.
5,000 layoffs.
Remember what we said? 5 to 7% by the end of the year. We had it in March. Remember that when you talk about what business channel you should watch. We give you the news here way before anybody else.
JP Morgan down about 0.5%. But again, to hear him get up there, look, everybody has a second act in a way, but he never addresses it. The point, maybe he can't.
The point I made, Liz, the point I made simply was this in this article, another point I made. If you look at the guys from the financial crisis, the heads of the Wall Street firms, they've all done fairly well since. John Mack is at KKR, right, the former Morgan Stanley CEO. Lloyd Blankfein still runs Goldman. Hank Paulson, the Treasury Secretary, is kind of like an elder statesman. You can go on and on. They did a lot of the people at Lehman Brothers haven't done well, but Fuld hasn't done well. Fuld, for better or worse, became the face of the financial collapse and Wall Street's sort of arrogance. And I don't know if he deserves it or not. He surely doesn't deserve to take all the blame. But remember, Lehman was the triggering event of the financial collapse. When they went down, everybody else went down. And so a lot of people, it's hard for him to shake that. Because he can't shake that, well, he can't get I don't want to say this is an illegitimate career, but he's forced in the world, the very murky world of penny stocks.
Well, maybe the $300 million plus in compensation he got over the years would be enough comfort.
You mean $1 billion?
Charlie, thank you. Oh, $1 billion.
He made $1 billion.
Why?
He made, I would say this, he made $500 million in his years as CEO. He probably made $1 billion.
Charlie, thank you.
Okay.
Charlie Gasparino getting up there with the microphone.